it's Mr. Evilcheese.
And I'm the Wicket.
And this is our video of my custom Joaquin Phoenix version of the Joker from the 2019 movie, Joker. And there he is. Now, this movie, as many people have said in the toy collecting community, it's really weird because there's like nothing, like pretty much nothing official in figure form with this. Like when a movie comes out, at least the Funko Pops have something by now, but they don't even have a preview of one for this figure, and no one seems to know why. It almost seems like maybe Warner Brothers is not allowing any official figures or anything from this to be made. And you could say, well, because it's such a serious adult type movie, but that wouldn't make sense because there's figures of that kind of stuff made all the time. So I don't know what the reason is, but there's knockoff figures, like 6-go knockoffs, and there's even like 6-inch knockoff figures, like unofficial figures coming out. So it was really bugging me that they weren't making any figures from this, and I really wanted one. So I was looking at one of my, I collect the Fortnite McFarlane figures, and I kept looking at him thinking, I could probably turn that into Joker. And I was really thinking about buying another one of him and doing it. But the more I looked at it, there's things I had issues with. For one, you can't open his jacket. It's just all one piece here. And another thing is just the head. I was having trouble finding the head that will work. And he almost looks too muscular in a way. He's not very muscular, this figure, but still something about it in the shoulders just looks too muscular to me. So I started looking around for other figures. I was also looking at this multiverse Alfred figure, but he has a couple issues, which is his legs got the sculpted in stripes on them, and also his jacket, it's too short in the front and too long in the back. It would just be a pain in the ass to deal with that. So that's why I didn't use this figure. And I found the Diamond Select Ghostbusters Walter Peck figure. And I was saying it's kind of funny, I used a Walter Peck figure to make a custom Arthur Fleck figure. It's like very similar names. It's just weird.
He's a Fleck Peck.
Yeah. But there's a lot more involved that I had to do. When I was at a video store, before I got this Walter Peck figure, I was looking at some other figures from the Gotham TV show. They had Alfred and Zaz, and they had similar suits. So I got them. And Alfred's suit jacket, this loose part here, looked a little closer, like with these points going up to the Joker suit. So I took off Walter Peck's jacket thing and stuck on Alfred's. So that's actually different. And the head I used was from a WWE AJ Styles figure. And I heavily modified it. I had to cut up his cheeks and everything to give him them bony cheeks.
It looked really funny. He had like all his hair shaved off on the sides and his head real thin. But then it went back to a point and had the hair sticking out of the back, and it just looks so funny. He looks like an alien.
There's still some of that hair in there, but it's mostly sculpted over or cut off. And then one issue with that head is that once you cut off the sides of AJ Styles' hair, he has no ears. So I went back to that Alfred figure again and cut his ears off. I said it felt like I was some kind of crazy serial killer of toys, cutting off ears for trophies. But yeah, I glued Alfred's ears on there. So you can kind of see if you look closely that they're not perfectly attached and smoothed out, but they're on there. Then I had to take Sculpting and sculpt in around his holes I cut on his face. And then a lot of Sculpting to do the hair over. And in other random places, like this side of the head was kind of messed up because the AJ Styles figure had hair that parted over, and when he cut it off, his head was misshapen. So I had to try to sculpt that out. And it was a lot of work, and I still couldn't get it as smooth as I want. It's still rough around the face. Luckily, the clown paint kind of hides some of that. That was kind of difficult too, very tiny details in that clown paint. The way he puts it on in the movie is kind of sloppy, but to get it the exact sloppiness, you got to be very careful.
I don't think you're giving yourself credit for how good this looks. It's really good.
Well, it's just, when I'm working on something and you're staring at it, like really close, I'm looking at it, you notice all these little things wrong with it. I've done that many times when I'm drawing a picture or working on a custom. I notice all these things, and then it's not until weeks later when I haven't looked at it in a while, and then I look at it. It's like, oh, that ain't too bad.
Well, I think you'll feel that way about him because I think he looks pretty damn good.
Well, there's still other issues I got with it I haven't gone over yet. Well, one thing is I got the color of his clothes, the paint, as close as I can get it. It's not quite right, but it's pretty close. It's not super bright red, but it's still more red than it should be. It's kind of like a reddish purple, but more towards red. But I really can't see purple in this. And I kept trying to add purple into my mix, and every time I did, it just didn't look right. So I just don't think I had the right paints to mix the color right. So it's just this reddish color, and that works. It looks close enough, I think. The under thing, this vest part was easy. That color was easy to get. It's a little difficult to get the green, but I got it. But then if you look at the pictures, there's very, very tiny little white circles. The outlines of circles. And it was hard to put that on there. The circles are more noticeable than they should be.
I like them though.
Well,
I think it looks good.
But if you look at the pictures, they're even skinnier than that. And I can't paint that tiny. That's one of the things where it'd be helpful to have the what do you call that? The printing they do on figures now. I can't even think to say what that's called. Where they paint the faces by like using a computer, whatever that's called. But that'd be good for that shirt part there. The Walter Peck figure had a tie though. That was one thing that's kind of annoying because I had to use my Dremel and cut the tie off, and then use some Sculpting to smooth it out as best I could. I also had to sculpt on his nose because AJ Styles' nose isn't long enough. Joaquin Phoenix's nose is just a little bit long and curved at the end, so I had to sculpt that on. I actually did try to add in Joaquin's lip scar, his upper lip scar, but it's kind of hard to see. Another big issue I had was the joints. Because if you ever look at the joints of a figure, usually the joints, the color of them, that's the color of the plastic. You can cut it open and that's still the color in the inside. So that becomes a big issue when you paint them. Because if you want to move the joints, it's going to push the paint off. So you have to grind down the joints so that they don't push on. It's hard to explain. You have to make sure there's a gap in there. The tightness of the joints comes from it squeezing. So you can cut that in and it shouldn't rub the paint off. I had to do that on the custom Star Wars Uda figure. Because before I did, whenever I moved her joints, the paint would rub off. Unfortunately, there's still areas where that happens around his shoulders.
You can see it a tiny bit in the back of his knees too.
Yeah, you can see in his shoulder, like right there, it wants to rub off. Back of his knees, you said?
Like you can see it like kind of in and out.
Oh yeah, right there, yeah. And then up around here maybe, but not. This should be hidden by his jacket, but under his jacket too, it rubs right there. You can see I repainted it. That's why it's darker looking around there. So there's still some areas right there. I grinded down that, but not this, so it's kind of rubbing off. That's another issue I have. But I think for having this over no figure at all, I'm pretty happy with it. One thing I made sure I did was up around his hair, you can see his skin color. I tried to keep that in there.
I really like his little cigarette.
Yeah. I made that out of a wire that came with the figure, the wires that hold them in. I just cut off a little short piece and painted it. And stuck on a little piece of cotton ball for the smoke. And it just wedges into these fingers really good. It stays in there. That's another issue is I have is I wish these were double jointed elbows so I can get his hand up to his face with the cigarette. But you can't. That's one thing that would have been good if I would have used this figure. Is he's got double jointed elbows and you can get it right up there to his face easily.
He is too big though, because he was like Joker was like real skinny in that movie.
Yeah. One other issue I have, I thought about fixing it after I got the head on, is his hair should be a little longer in the back. But the reason I didn't make it long when I put it on, before I put it on, was because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get it on with the hair sticking down. Now that I have it on, if I add more hair, it might make it so I can't turn his head.
Yeah, it might get stuck.
So I don't think I'm going to add any more hair to it. Another thing I might do is give him some alternate hands, because he needs some fist hands. Because I kept looking up pictures of his dancing, like the main pictures they show from the arts and posters and everything of him dancing, and he's usually making fists. So it'd be nice to have some fist hands. Just that these hands aren't made to be switched easily. I'd have to heat them up, so could be an issue. And here's his boots. I didn't do any sculpting on them. I just painted on everything. I didn't feel like sculpting them would be an issue, I think.
I think that'd be more work than it was worth.
Yeah. As for articulation, he just has the articulation that this Walter Peck figure had, which isn't bad. So I could spin, look up and down a tiny bit. And the shoulders can go up like that. Go out like that. You see there's another spot where the paint's rubbing off. Elbow can go about 90 degrees. And it can spin. The wrist can spin. And there's a hinge. Then right there's a joint, but it doesn't really do much. That's about all it does. Then right there at the hips, that could spin all the way around. You do a split. Kick out like that. That'd be good for some of his kicking, dancing poses. It's got double jointed knees. Down at the ankles, you could do that. And it'll tilt. And that's about it for his articulation. It would be nice if he had a gun too. I didn't really look through my accessories to see if I had an extra revolver that he could have. I'm not sure if it would fit into that hand very well though. It's not really a gun holding hand. So there's my custom Joker next to the NECA Dark Knight Joker. Because there's a lot of comparisons between these two versions of the Joker. But you can see he has a tinier head. So, while I've got issues with this Joker, I am pretty happy with it and happy that I got at least some form of 7-inch scale Joker. Happy with a 6-inch too. So yeah, I got some issues with the sculpt of the face. I don't think it's exactly like his face. I think it's a little bit off. But I tried. Like the color of the suit, I think could have been a little closer. But I think it's okay. And I want to add some like fist hands or something at some point. But I do like how it turned out for the most part. It's not for sale either. The reason I made this is because I wanted one, so I don't have any intention of selling it. But I still hope that they make an official one. I would like an official figure in 7-inch scale that looks a lot more accurate.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I hope they make some.
Well, I think this is really fucking awesome. And it's pretty damn good for custom.
Thanks!
And I really love his little cigarettes. I can't get over that. The little puff for the smoke is genius.
Well, I've seen that done before on a cigarette for a figure. So I didn't come up with that myself. But...
Well, now I'm disappointed. Never mind. It's stupid.
Oh. Well, it is genius. It's just not my idea.
It's just you're not the genius.
Yeah. I should have just said, yep, I thought of that myself. Well, this was Evilcheese.
And I'm Zobagat.
Thanks for watching and goodbye. Have you seen what it's like out there, Murray? Everyone just yells and screams at each other. No one's civil anymore. And there's human sacrifice. Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. To answer your question, I have seen what it's like out there. And it's true. This man, Walter Peck, has no dick. My name is Arthur Fleck, and you're supposed to refer to me as Joker. That's what you called me on your show. Oh, boo-hoo! Get over it. Do you want to hear a joke, Murray? Actually, no, I don't. I don't want to hear it. What do you get when someone asks if you were a god and you say no? Slimed? I'll tell you what you get. You get exactly what you deserve.
Oh, damn it, man. You see them other pictures there? Why don't you click on one of them to see the video? Oh, you could subscribe, Nate. Ooh.